back here with it, Swish Life Garage on the 4th Gen Prelude. Still a few things I want to do to this before I get on the street. Main thing I want to do is the transmission oil change today. Whenever I bought the car, it's shifting a little weird. I checked the transmission oil, it's definitely been overfilled. So main thing I need to do is take it on out and properly fill it on up. So this car is an automatic, unfortunately. Now of course I do have plans to go ahead and swap this to manual. If you guys already seen my 5th Gen Prelude, I did swap that one as well. You could go ahead and watch those videos. But as of now, I want to go ahead and drive the Prelude. Gonna drive it automatic for a little bit before I do the swap. But the transmission oil, I've already checked it when it's been running and warm. It's just super overfilled. As of now, just stationary. It's been sitting here a couple of days. But the oil dipstick says it's at the line. So most people don't know how to check the transmission oil. They probably did it when it was stationary and put the oil on in there. But whenever it's running, the oil is like way up here. First thing I need to do is I need to jack up this car and we're going to go ahead and drain the oil. Got this side jacked up as well as the other side, but I got it leaning a little bit because the drain bolt is right over here, and so I want all the automatic fluid to just try to come out as much as possible. Get your drain pan. Right here is going to be your drain bolt. You got to go ahead and get a ratchet or a breaker bar. Here I have a breaker bar. Sometimes they're a little tight. Here's the drain bolt, and these are magnetic, and usually you'll get some metal shavings that come off of there. It shouldn't be a lot. I mean, I would probably say it's about average. I don't know when it was changed, so I wouldn't say that's too bad, honestly. That's all cleaned up. Oil has been drained out, so time to go ahead and put this back on. Drain plug is all tightened up. Time to go ahead and put some oil in it. I took the car off of the jack stands, and so now I'm going to put fluid in the transmission. Going to be taking out the dipstick and putting a long funnel down in there so we can fill it up. Funnel on in there is going to make it a lot easier to go ahead and fill it on up there. For a Honda automatic transmission, always use the transmission fluid from the dealer, and this is the ATF DW-1. As of now, I'm just going to put about 2.2 quarts until I could start the car up, get on level ground, and check the level. So transmission oil has been taken care of. Next thing I want to take care of is the power steering. It is leaking out through here, out through the return hose. I'm not sure if it's the actual hose or if there's a seal or something right behind here. What I'm going to do is take out the fluid from the reservoir, and who knows how old this fluid is. Got most of the fluid out of here. I'm going to go ahead, start the car on up, try to get that power steering pumping, and probably get a little bit more fluid in the reservoir. For this return hose, what I'm going to do is cut it off, like just the top part, just a little bit, and it has enough room to where I could stretch it, and it won't really affect it too much. They don't sell this hose anymore. If you want, you can go ahead and go to like O'Reilly's or something and get a hose that fits and just loop it. I'll do that if what I'm doing doesn't work, but I'm gonna go ahead and give it a shot. I think the tube is just kind of loose, so I think cutting it is gonna definitely stop it. But like I said, it possibly might be this part, but we'll see. Go ahead and refit it. Oh yeah, fits a lot better. I did buy some Honda power steering. Make sure you buy your power steering from Honda. If you use another brand like from AutoZone or wherever, not from Honda, you have a pretty good chance of ruining your power steering pump. So make sure you use the fluid from Honda. I'm just going to go ahead, put a little bit on in there, of course, when the car is running, and when I drive it, turn it a couple times, I'll go ahead and recheck the level. Another thing I would definitely want to fix before taking this thing on the road is the power steering belt and the alternator belt look pretty old, so I want to go ahead and change these on out. I can see some cracks on there and they just look dried out. I want to start with power steering belt since that one is first. We got to go ahead and loosen this nut on here. There's another nut right on over here, and then as well got to loosen this. This is the actual tensioner. Power steering has been loosened, and we'll go ahead and slide this belt on off. So here's the belt. Not sure if it picks up on camera, but there's a whole bunch of cracks just from the belt being dry. It looks exactly like that all over the belt, so definitely need to be changed. Now gotta loosen up the alternator. There's gonna be a nut right down here, looks to be about a 12. Then over here you're going to see the tensioner. You see the bolt for the tensioner right there. Got to go ahead and loosen that up as well. There's another nut just down over here attached to the tensioner, so you could loosen up the tensioner. Got to go ahead and get those three. I'm getting the power steering pump out of the way because it's just in the way. Alternator's loose. Just slide the belt off. If you guys can tell, it's just all cracked up as well. So this thing is trash. Time to go ahead and put on the new alternator belt. Have one from Continental, and this is part number 4050425. Right, so just like taking the other one off, just put this one right on. Let's go ahead and get it by. This is probably the hardest part, just trying to get it on by. Belt is on the alternator, AC, and the crank. So go ahead and pick up the alternator and start to get rid of the slack. Alright, so once you got it tight enough, what I usually do is I try to bend the belt, and if it bends like less than halfway, you know, try to twist it, then pretty much it's tight enough. I'll probably just do a few more turns and just recheck it. So that one is tight enough. I just need to go ahead and tighten up the nuts that are on the side here. There it is, alternator belt ready to go. Time to go ahead and put the power steering back on. Brand new power steering belt here, part number 4040400, and this as well is from Continental. Another thing I want to do onto the car for this video is, if you guys see all this rust that basically was laid out on the concrete because of this muffler, whenever I had moved the car, it was just like condensation and a bunch of, you know, obviously some orange rust here. So actually what I want to go ahead and do is just chop off the muffler. This car is a 92. I'm here in Texas. As long as you're over 25 years or older, it really doesn't matter what you do to your car. As well, in 2025, we're not going to have no more inspections. So I'm going to go ahead and chop this thing on up. And honestly, I think we're going to get a lot better sound than what it is right now. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a startup. Now really doesn't sound like much, and as well we got some more rust and condensation coming on out. So let's go ahead, jack this thing on up and get to chopping. Took off the rear wheel, and right here have very easy access to chop off the muffler. So here's the muffler. This thing is trash. Here we are with no muffler. Let's go ahead and start it on up. I'm not gonna lie, that was a little bit louder than I was expecting. What I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna take this thing on the street, let it warm up, get it on level ground so I could go ahead and check the transmission fluid. Quick drive around the block, checked on the transmission, ended up putting total 2.6 quart, and so that is good to go. And then as well, of course, got some turns in, and then the power steering had settled, so I just topped it on off there. And now the brakes were working fine. If you guys saw the previous video, I did change out that master cylinder. And then of course the muffler is just pretty loud now. That's going to be it for this video, guys. Just checking more things off of the list to try to get this Prelude onto the street. Changing out that transmission oil, the power steering fluid, the power steering belt and alternator belt. Let me know if you guys have any questions down below in the comment section. Of course, I have all my social media in the description box of every video if you guys need to message me. Make sure you like this video and are subscribed to the channel, because I'm gonna have to catch you on that next one, player.